What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Phinius, and welcome to Owning This Life Reboot with my sister from another mother. What's up, girl? What's cooking? What's boiling?
Too much.
Too much.
Well, you know.
Don't go there. You know, I know there's too much going on, but we're not gonna go there yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, how you doing, girl?
I'm alive.
You're
I'm
alive.
It's been a rough couple of weeks. You know, 2024 feels like 5 years.
I know, right? I mean, January is over, so we stop worrying.
It feels like 2027 at this point. I'm exhausted.
Listen, you need to hang out with young people. I think you will be.
I do hang out with young people.
Oh yeah, behind the camera there's a sister, so I got you. I understand. No wonder why you got jokes these days.
I got jokes.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not even funny.
You're not?
No,
You're right. You should listen to your voice note.
Are you laughing? I have another friend who laughs at my voice notes all the time, who thinks I'm hilarious. I'm just like, why?
Okay.
No. I'm honest. I think that's my thing.
Okay.
But no, 2024 has been a lot.
Yeah.
In a very short space of time.
Yeah.
God is guarding.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's good.
I think 2023 was a rough year, but this year it's just everything is showing up everywhere.
Yeah. That was say life is life, and you said God is guarding.
Yes, God is
Does
guarding.
that mean good or bad? You know, because some people
No,
think.
when He's guarding, He's doing good things. He's opening doors.
Well, I think sometimes when He's guarding, He allows bad things. I said allow.
This year, I mean, look, I've had my fair share of bad things happen in the last 2 years. Like, if He had to Jonah me another second, I'd be like, okay, peace out.
Oh, so you want to be on a honeymoon with God?
Yes.
All the time?
No, not all the time. But this season.
You know, when they say God is good, they say all the time, I'm like,
No,
I don't know what.
He is good all the time, but what
The situation.
you understand.
Okay, gotcha.
And your interpretation of it is different.
Oh, right, okay.
So this year, He's been guarding. In 1 month, my life has gone from,
That's good.
I don't know, from nothingness to
Yeah.
maybe I don't have enough time to sleep.
Yeah.
Kind of. So that's been a bit much.
Well, after what you've been through, I think you deserve a little bit of that peace, you know.
Do you think we should give people some context?
Maybe we should, you know, because a lot of inside jokes. Where have you been? It's been 4 years,
You
woman.
always said, I didn't give much of that in the first episode.
Okay.
Because I walked myself into a homeless shelter in June 2023, so that's got to say a lot.
Wow.
But
Homeless from where? Where are you from?
Joburg.
Joburg. Which part of Joburg?
Cape Town was now.
Listen, we are in Cape Town. You gotta.
I'm officially a resident of Cape Town.
Okay. Oh wow.
Okay. No, so context. Let's just give context. So essentially, I was married the last time I did the season 3, I think it was. We're doing the reboot because I'm divorced now.
Okay.
And single.
Yeah.
And
Single but not available.
I don't know who said that now, but okay.
Wow, brothers, she's ready.
I didn't say that either.
Well, you didn't say not available.
No. Don't make those decisions for me.
Don't worry, I know some brothers. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, you keep saying the same thing over and over again. But this is the thing for me. What I wanted to actually go to, and I'm glad you asked about that, is because I thought I'd be married forever. I got married to be married forever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
We make that decision, and when it turned out I wasn't going to be married forever.
Yeah.
And being married for as long as I did, I mean, I got married at 21.
21?
So, yes, did you not know that?
21?
I was 21 when I got married, and I've been a parent since I was 19.
Did you celebrate your 21st in marriage?
I had a baby.
You had a baby?
So my mother,
wow.
The colored auntie says, that's 21st there that you're carrying on your hip? My son was my 21st. There was no party gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I never did any of the things that, I mean, teens and 20-year-olds do.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't go to university.
Yeah.
I don't know what campus is like. I don't have my degree yet, God willing.
Yeah.
I will have that soon. But I didn't have all those experiences.
Wow.
So when I got married, it was like, okay, I'm going to be in this marriage forever.
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, and I realized there's going to be a different shift and look to my life. It took a while to adjust to that.
How long did it take?
2 years.
2 years.
Because I was so...
Will you say you have adjusted, or you're still adjusting to being single after?
I've adjusted now.
Right, okay.
The first 2 years was difficult because you're so... How can I say? You live with someone all the time, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what that relationship is like, you're with them all of the time. So that disconnect, and in my divorce case, everything that came with it, was very destabilizing for me.
What people don't realize is that when you are going through divorce, you're not only losing the person, you're losing resources, connections, friendships,
You're
everything.
losing the future dream. That was the hardest part for me. Was this imagined life that we were going to have, and the strides we were making in business. I had already planned out what we were going to look like as grandparents. Do you know what I'm saying? So in my mind, losing all of that was devastating. And I don't think people realize that there are certain levels of grief that come with divorce. I mean, you also divorced for a bit now. So there's a level of grief that comes with it. And then you need to also kind of find yourself in your single season. You actually posted about that this week. And for me, it's interesting that most people don't do that. And it's because it's difficult. You're so connected to someone else that it's very difficult to find yourself now single and out here in the world.
I mean, I think one of the expressions that I've always said to people is, like you said, you build your life on this person and these people, and then the next minute they're not there, and there's this sense of, who am I now? You know,
exactly.
You almost gotta recover per se, as I gotta find myself without these people, because a lot of who we are, it's attached to other people. You know, we like, you know, you build your home in someone, then they leave, you become homeless. I think for me that was the difficult part of trying to be without, trying to build that home within myself and not in people, because unfortunately people will leave. You know, and if you build your life in them, you know, the beginning of becoming, I don't know, homeless is like I said, it's not just, oh, I lost a building. It's very spiritual and very emotional. So I think for me, it was a spiritual, I would say, recovery, you know. Also, I realized that I idolized marriage. I idolized being a father. I idolized having a family. I was into generational breaking stuff.
And you thought your marriage was going to help you solve those problems?
Let's go, you know. And then you realize, all right, okay, it is not as I planned. And also you can plan it, you know, but if it's only you planning and you're not planning together and you're not looking at the same picture together, the likelihood of this is very possible. So, but like you said, I don't think anybody gets married to get divorced. I think life happens. But like someone said, it happens for you, not to you. So
the thing I want to know is, I feel like men and women experience divorce differently.
Yeah.
And I'm going to exclude toxic people from this conversation altogether. We're talking about healthy people who have the ability to grow and know. For men, I feel like, who are healthy, they're coming in to steward a family, right? To steward the idea of what, like you said, the generational curses that you can break in, and raising healthy people and all of that kind of thing. And for women, we come in with the idea that we're going to be marrying someone we can submit to, but we don't think about how the kind of man you marry is going to kind of incentivize that submission, right? The submission doesn't happen on its own. But when it comes to divorce, the experiences are different, I think, for me as a woman and from the men that I've watched. Men are less likely to get divorced from someone if they're having troubles, right? Where women are now more motivated to leave because we understand that living with someone who I cannot submit to means that I'm going to be struggling for the rest of my life with my masculine. And it's something I've been talking about quite a bit lately. But what have you seen, I think, in the spaces of people leaving their marriages, how women are experiencing it? Because for me, it was really, really tough. Let's exclude all the drama. But for me, it was tough because I genuinely loved my person. I assumed it was my person. But so much so that I was longing for the idea of submission to actually happen at some point. And that never happened. So I really loved the person and I stuck on for that, but I was exhausted because I was having to be the man as well. So when I left, what was, other than all that other stuff, what jolted my entire nervous system was that dream had never come into fruition. But it also validated my childhood experience of trauma comes with these kind of relationships. Which I didn't see coming, right? Because in my mind, I justified what was going on. So my point is, For you, what was the experience like? Because I know I wouldn't be able to see marriage the same way as a guy.
I mean, the thing is, men, we don't, the way we experience pain and the way we deal with pain is not always very healthy. I think it takes a lot of humility to kind of put yourself at a place as a man where you're like, yo, I need help. I think for me, I had to swallow a lot of ego and a lot of pride and reach out when I was going through that season, because I knew that it will take a community. I mean, the initial thing was isolate, give up on everything, go back home, but to what? I think that would have killed me quicker than anything else because it was very traumatic. It's something that I've never thought could happen to me. You see, that's the ego inside of me. It can happen to everybody else, but it will never happen to Phinius. Who am I? You know, because I remember I was asking God, why me? You know, and there was a moment where I looked in the mirror, I was like, why not you, bro? Who do you think you are? You know, because life happens to everyone and it doesn't matter who you are. That's what people don't understand. They think things happen to people because they have done something bad or because they deserve it. No.
And we find reasons, right? We're like, I'm doing everything right. Why is this still happening to me?
Yeah, the self-righteousness come out of us, you know, where we think we are holier than thou, and then, you know, this is not supposed to happen to me. But here's the thing, marriage is not prison, and love is a choice. People can choose to be with you or leave you anytime that they want, you know. So you can't force someone to love you, and you shouldn't beg for someone to love you. You know, so for me, I think the recovery of it was somebody looking at me and saying, hey, I still respect you and I still value you. There's more to who you are than what is going on right now. So I think for me, not allowing that to change who I am took time. I mean, I isolated. You know, I was embarrassed, I was ashamed, I was very concerned about what people will think, what people will say. I mean, it took me a year and a half to go public with my divorce because I had to wrestle with myself and accept that what happened, you know, and find ways to bounce back without demonizing the person that I was with, because I love that person, you know, I loved that person. And I think for me, it is very hard to hate somebody that you loved. It's very hard, to be honest. So I think for me, the recovery of that, somebody asked me how did it happen for me to bounce back. I think when people say love heals, it does. Bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness doesn't heal. I think when I held on to love in the midst of pain, I think the healing was, I would say, quicker and smoother and better than I would have held on to, who do you think you are? Why did you do that to me? You know what I'm saying?
See, I think the fundamental difference with you, though, is you had a community. Yeah, you were surrounded by
the key thing was community. I had mentors, I had community,
And that, I mean, support is, like I tell people all the time, what you don't realize is your support is fundamental when someone's going through something.
Listen, I got to see who are my friends during that season. Because everybody loves you when you're at the top. When you are in the pit.
And then they don't want to be associated with you. Because our experiences in this regard is very different. And I remember, I think it was the first month that I had a conversation with you, and I said, just be careful how you structure some of this, because your reputation, although it's not end all, but you've been able to maintain a really good one throughout this process. I, on the other hand, am messy. So I was messy for quite some time, and I tarnished some relationships, but the way I handled my pain was disgusting. I'm not going to lie. Because I didn't know what to do. You know, it's like someone shoots you with a bullet out of the blue. You don't know how to act.
Listen, I will be honest with you right now. There were times, I don't know how many times I wrote things online and I had to delete them. I don't know how many times I have to write emails and delete them. I don't know how many times I wanted to manifest, but somebody called me up and say, remember who you are. That was it. Like, remember who you are before you do that, because I had to remember who I am at my core before responding in a way that was not going to be, you know, that was not going to be proud of, you know, because there were moments, trust me.
See, but the reason I'm saying why the community is important is because you already kind of had self-validation for who you were prior to this, right? So you didn't need to find that. In my case, I felt like I had no self-validation, no self-worth before. I was doing a lot of things. We were doing really well. I was starting to learn more about myself. But a lot of what I believed about my life was set up in my marriage because I got married so young. So I didn't ever get a foundational understanding of who I was becoming because there was no time to do it. Right? I have 4 kids. There was a lot going on all of the time. My quiet times, I started taking holidays by myself. That didn't go very well for numerous reasons. But by the time my divorce was happening, the bottom fell out. And the bottom fell out with everyone who I thought were my people. So, you know what a child who's really hurting does? They can't communicate, they start screaming. Because no one was listening, I got a megaphone and started screaming. And you know what that did? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It got people to support me financially where I needed help because we needed food, right? But it did nothing else except give me this horrible, needy reputation, which was something I didn't want.
I mean, sometimes we think people really care.
They care more about themselves.
To be honest with you, I sometimes challenges or bad things happen in our lives is a blessing because it gets to reveal the people around us, also reveal ourselves, also reveal who God is in our lives. You know, so for me, a lot of, when I look back, I'm very thankful for that season because I got to see people, I got to see myself, I got to see God. So somehow it has filtered through my cycle, you know. So now I'm very discerning when it comes to what kind of people that I want around me, you know. But if it wasn't for that, I would still be blind, you know, to be honest. So there's a flip side of it that comes with a blessing, you know. I mean, of course, there's grief, but there's a blessing behind it. So I'm glad.
It took me a while to see it like that because for me, everything, the slate was wiped clean. Like every.
I mean, coming from Joburg to Cape Town, knowing.
Kind of shows you that I had to make some serious decisions because my life looked this way, and overnight. It literally, the slate was wiped completely clean. And I guess God was doing me a favor. Because in hindsight, everyone that was in my circle at that time would not be able to help me thrive in the season. And you know what they say, that you are never seen in your own city. 100% my experience. Like 100% my experience. How was it the city that I found myself homeless in? The same city that has got me to where I am right now. You know, that disconnect is huge. Whereas staying in Joburg, I would have been homeless when there's tons of people for me to stay with. That confused me on every level. And I'm not going to lie. I still feel like some parts of this I have to take a long time to heal because I really loved some of these people, right? I really loved them and craved healed relationships with them and fought. I'm a colored woman. I do ride or die. Okay? So when I'm like your friend and I want to be in your life, you can't unstick me. I'm like that.
The art of that is not allowing what people do to you to change who you are. But that's difficult though.
That break was hard.
Very
because
difficult.
My heart didn't just break because my marriage. My heart broke because all of the relationships I had formed within and around my marriage dissipated in a matter of weeks.
And then you get to grieve all of that.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So when people say time heals, and I'm like,
no, healing is intentional. That's the other thing. Like one of the fights I have with people is, and I was saying this on my Instagram, is that what drives me wild is that people sit around and wait for healing dust to fall on them. I'm just like, and then 10 years from now, you're getting married to a very similar person that you got married to before and walking the same ugly road because you thought healing was going to happen because they say time heals. Time doesn't heal unless you're actually doing the work. But the reason people don't do the work is for this that I'm saying. It's very hard to have to grieve family, friends, a marriage, your working relationship, your business associations, the kind of, I mean, the work that I was doing before gave me a platform that made me feel not powerful, but it made me feel like I was becoming a better version of myself every day.
I think for me, what I learned from the whole experience is not allowing my value to be attached to none of those things. Like my value does not come from a woman, does not come from my position or what I'm doing, because I realized that those things are sent, and they can easily go away. So, and also learning that, people project a lot in life. And when you make what they do about you, that's where you get finished, I think. I think for me, detaching myself from who I am to the situation was very important, because
that's hard though.
It is hard.
Because you need to actually now sit and think about it.
It is hard.
I mean, I've done that now because the friendships I've curated now
Yes.
are and I can use the word curated on purpose. They are very specific to who I am now, and I'm very, very intentional about who I allow in my life and who gets access to the actual vulnerable parts of me. There's literally, I think, 3 of you guys. Because I'm not about to go through that process again. And there's no attachment issues. Everyone has their own strong boundaries, and we respect those strong boundaries. Sometimes the boundaries are annoying.
I mean, that's why I was on your neck, when it comes to this podcast thing, where you were like almost allowing it to die because of what happened to you. And I was like, for me, a lot of times I don't think certain things happen to us just because. I think for me, somebody told me that if you want to kill the seed, kill the soil. So what happened to us a lot of times for me was like, the devil is not really after my marriage, because there was a purpose with my marriage. I don't think God created us just to get married. I think there's something that comes with marriage that the devil hates. And when I realized that he was not just after my marriage, he was after my purpose in life, that's when I realized why I need to fight. Because somehow I was like, yeah, I'm okay with you taking her away, but I'm not okay with you taking my relationship away with God. But he knew that, it was almost like a test that if I can take this person away, maybe he will fall for the trap.
Yeah, see, that don't work. There's some of us that are just like, you basically tried to kill me.
Yeah.
But
he knew how important family and marriage was to me, because somebody asked him, what are your dreams? I have only 2 dreams, to be honest with you. And it's to be a father and to be a husband. To be what my mother never had and to be what I never had growing up as a child. He knows that. And he knew where to hit me. That's why it took me almost 2 years to recover, because it was that deep and that difficult.
But I think for all of us, when they hits exactly where it's going to hurt most.
Yes.
I mean, for me, it was honesty in my family. I've had issues with that since I was a child, and I could never understand why shame always made decisions in our family. That's why I'm such a vocal person. Because I was like, someone's got to say something. You can't be Bible read and then ashamed that you have a past. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. So I've been a vocal child since, literally since I was 3. I see it in everyone's nose. And that had always been the thing that bothered me. And then the second he had an opportunity, he wiped those people that I wanted to help, find vulnerability off my list altogether. That was the most painful part, because I already didn't feel wanted. Right? And the thing I struggled with all of my life was wanting to be wanted and nobody wanting me.
You see, that's the thing, because then you think you grieve with that person that left, and then you realize that you're dealing with a little girl and a little boy inside of you. So I grew up, my father left my mother when my mother was pregnant. So I experienced rejection from the womb. And I grew up with that. So the divorce triggered that. So it was no longer about the divorce. It was about the little boy inside of me who feels unwanted and uncared for and unloved. And that's the little boy that I had to go back to and hug and affirm and tell him that he's good enough and everything's going to be okay. So when people say, when you're grieving and they think it's about that person, no, it's not. It's deeper than somebody that left you.
Tracking back all the way.
Exactly. So it strikes your childhood trauma that you got to address and deal with. I mean, my whole counseling was about that. But as you said, for men, how do we deal with it? We drink, we smoke, we have sex with everybody that we can meet. But community, I mean, I didn't like my mentors telling me all the time that I have to behave
You're not
myself.
allowed to do that.
Listen, I wanted to do dumb stuff. I wanted to go dumb. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to smoke. I never smoked in my life. I wanted to drink. I never drank in my life. I wanted to get women pregnant and sleep around and get HIV or whatever.
Oh, wow, you wanted to die.
Listen, I wanted to die. Like literally, I almost committed suicide. You know, so it was hard. I almost became somebody that I never wanted to become.
And that was the plan, right? Wait, so
I couldn't become homeless like you and we would have been buddies. What's up, my sister?
At least I didn't do none of those things either. Okay.
You know, that's why when people say people choose to be homeless, and I'm like, nobody chooses to be homeless. Life happens to
Yay. People. I actually met someone last night with a story in the middle of the road who made me break down.
And they have degrees and they had homes.
And the story was so beautiful. Okay, you spoke about something that I want to get to. You wanted to sleep with everyone?
Yeah, I'm a man. I should not say that because not every man thinks of doing something like that. But
what do you mean? Most of them do.
I'm not gonna speak
because men are physical beings, and you guys have like vivid, imagination.
I don't know. You see, the idea that men love sex is not really true. Men want peace and respect. That's what we want at our core.
What they're looking for.
But when we are hurting, this is what I'm saying. When we are hurting, we look for a rehab.
That's what I'm saying.
And our rehabilitation sometimes is sex.
Okay, so I openly talk about choosing celibacy, right?
Okay. Sheesh. Celibacy.
Why are you laughing?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do the dang.
Funny.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay, it's hard. Now I know why you're laughing. So Phinius.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this because you giggled.
Yeah.
So Phinius, and a friend of mine said the same thing about you before I actually really sat and spoke to you. He was showing some videos on Instagram of himself going to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then when a person is on the phone with him during ovulation, he'll make a comment like, "No, I'm going to the gym quickly."
Yeah.
Or I just came from the gym, I'm sweaty, and I'm just like, I'm a photographer. So that intrinsically means my visual perception is all up in here.
Oh my Lord.
Now you know.
Yeah.
And I commented on it this week. I never said anything. Claudia listens to me about this often. Because although I chose celibacy, my body didn't stop knowing what sex was like.
No, the thing is, people don't. You can be a Christian, you can be Buddhist, you can be Muslim. We are still human beings, and we feel and experience stuff in life.
Okay,
so
we're not going to philosophy because I want to ask you a question.
Oh, what question?
Deep.
What?
Let me finish.
I take cold showers. I live next to Musenberg. The water is very cold there.
Wow. No, okay, so the question is, have you chosen to be celibate?
Yes, I have. I have to, but it's good for your brain and for your health.
So when you say you're taking cold showers,
when I feel
what's happening when you're taking cold showers?
When the flesh is flushing.
Okay.
Either go to the gym to take all that energy out, or and sometimes you take cold showers to kind of center yourself. I would say. I'm very careful. I don't listen to every music. I don't watch everything on TV.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I don't always surround myself with women who kind of put themselves out there too much. I started unfollowing some of the people, females on social media, because for them they're not doing anything wrong. But I'm a man. I'm not a statue. I feel stuff. So I gotta discipline myself at some point.
I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I feel like people have this misconception that when you get divorced, either one or two things happen. You become a nun or a priest, or you go wilding out.
Listen, I would say this, by the way. Let me say not if, when I get married again, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to become a monk.
Yeah, I ain't about to do that. That's why Mary.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I will be. I'll be Apostle Paul.
Wow.
You
don't know what the thorn in Paul's side was. Let's just start there.
Well, I'll pray for that grace. I don't know if I can survive it. But it's worth trying. You know what I'm saying?
Survive that. I'm planning my honeymoon with the man that doesn't exist yet. So you're thinking? I'm not even thinking that.
But also, but to be honest
with my marriage, that man is going to see Lakeisha down the pole
but to be honest,
all day, every day.
To be honest,
he's the only one who's going to get it. Okay. Because you've been celibate for so long.
Give me Jesus. I thought you were saved.
Hey.
I thought you were saying, but to be honest,
I'm not gonna get everything. Then what? Then why would I be doing it again?
But here's the thing: I had a conversation with the man upstairs, and I was like, "Bruh, I'm going like, I don't want no woman. I'm good." And it almost felt like God sent me an emoji, and laughed at me.
Yeah, no, he does.
Because he knows at my core, he didn't design me like that.
Oh, he does.
I was like, yeah, it's not funny, bro.
The second you become like content.
Yeah.
Like I was telling someone yesterday, I'm at the most content, joyful, exhausting season of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then.
But you gotta be careful though, because I realized that I was making a decision from a wounded place.
No. So for me, it was the reason I chose celibacy was number one. I'm gonna be very honest. I have not had the best sexual experiences in my life.
Right.
Right. So for me, sex was a job. It was part of the job that I had to do because I was forced.
Also, women are told that sex is for men.
Exactly.
Only a man is supposed to enjoy.
The same thing, right?
A man is supposed to enjoy sex. You guys are not supposed to enjoy sex. You're supposed to make all the babies and carry them for 9 months. So I agree with you.
No, so I
know of some women who have been married for years, but they never experienced
an orgasm. Oh Lord, please let's pray for these ladies out here because shame.
Because unfortunately,
look at Claudia's face. But the thing for me was, and it's not even, I can't even blame being married, right?
Yeah.
I have a sexual abuse history.
Yeah.
It wasn't long term, but there were specific events that kind of aggravated it and some memories that I'm still trying to recover.
Yeah.
But there are certain things around body issues that I have a physical reaction.
For sure.
That contributed to of being married and not feeling like I could be vulnerable in that way either.
No, you didn't feel safe because your whole life of sex has not been safe.
And then there were experiences that were actually more traumatic in my sexual history, right? Yeah. So once my marriage had ended, and I know some people wouldn't want me to talk about this, but I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
I was in a little relationship for a while.
Yeah.
That taught me that my body did not have half of the experiences that it could have.
Right, okay.
And I'm talking about emotional, mental, and physical connection, which I shouldn't have been doing outside of marriage, but I mean, we do what we must, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. I want that. Not the person, but I want that because girls, oh my God.
Listen,
there are things that your body can do with the right person. Hey, it is a spiritual experience. Okay.
You're gonna call God's name.
No, God made sex, so let's not play there. God made sex, and it's supposed to be that experience.
No,
this is my point.
Okay.
I chose celibacy because I know what that can be like, and I'm not willing to sleep around with people trying to find that in random species, random men. But the other thing also about it is, how many people am I going to spiritually connect myself to in that way? And then I have to go through another healing process. For what purpose? If I find my quote-unquote Joel Tadman, because that is who I aspire to find, not him, he's married, a virgin.
Who's that?
Joel Tadman.
Oh my Lord, okay.
The Lord knows.
Lord have mercy on me.
I can't watch him preach, it's too much for my body to take.
You're supposed to be listening to the message.
You can't listen to.
Not paying attention on the message.
That man sweats and the muscles are just.
Oh my Lord!
And he wears a Nigerian.
So that's why women go to his church.
No, he preaches under TD Jakes.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm just like, this is too much for me. I can't watch it. Like, I'll get halfway through his message. No, actually. So being intentional about being celibate, I've had to force myself to pivot some of my behavior in that sense. Sex is not being on my radar. It never has been anyway. But when I'm watching a sermon like that, because I find Joel Todman really hot, I can't watch him.
Wow.
I have to listen to him.
That's good.
Because watching him, and because I'm visually inclined, is a bit difficult. It creates a barrier for me, right? I don't have that experience with other preachers because I'm just like, you're just you.
Yeah.
But I have had to really curate my life around staying celibate.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem. I just need to have a conversation with God about this. The longer you're celibate,
for me,
it gets harder.
For me, it feels like deliverance, a lot of times, because it's like fasting. You've been enjoying this thing, and now you have to fast from it for 2 years. that is very hard, you know. But I think for me it was easy because of accountability. It was easy because I don't know, I just have a different mindset. Also, for me, sex has never been a drive, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, right?
Purpose has always been the drive. So I think for me, it depends on the genesis of your being and what drives you. That's why sometimes I say men don't really need sex. You know, we want peace, we want respect, and out of that, you know, our body kind of follows.
But women are like that. And I don't think men realize that, is that so like
you can't just jump on a woman. You gotta make sure that the soil is good.
Yes, all of the things need to be in place. But no, this is the one thing that I am grateful. That experience shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But when it did, it taught me something that I didn't even know about myself.
Right.
So I mean, I spoke about masculine energy and all of that in the previous podcast. But what I realized was that when the environment was safe, and I mean extremely safe, where I could be all of myself, my body switched itself on. I did not even have to think about what it needed to do. It was just like, I'm here, sir, do what you must. Okay.
I mean, they call it surrender and submission.
Yeah, but it was wild.
It's like
I'm so used to controlling.
It's the same thing as creativity. Creativity requires a surrender for you to go into that space. But the minute you go into a relationship all guarded, that's a red flag. It means that you haven't healed.
We need to teach like our children stuff like that. I mean, and what happens when you're at that age? I mean, how old am I now? I was in my mid-30s when this happened. Never having had this experience. It took me like a month to just be like, what is happening? I don't know this version of myself. But the level of safety was doing more than just allowing my body to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when we're aiming for relationships and marriages, this is what we should be looking for. The problem with that is, and this is why I feel like a lot of people say date to marry and don't date to date. Because when you find someone you're attracted to on that level because of the level of safety.
Date to marry, but what happens after you get married?
No, I'm talking about like in the dating stage. So if you're in the dating stage and you find someone who makes you feel safe like that, it's very hard.
What is actually dating? Because some people say dating should be focusing on one person.
That thing.
No, but does dating mean you're looking at one person, or does dating mean?
Okay, I'm old school.
The nest is too wide.
I'm
old school. You're trying this.
So if I'm going on a date,
you're trying that, and then you pick the right one.
Yes, but it's not try. I'm going out with you and seeing how you are in this environment. And then for me, I throw darts.
What if the guy is going out with other girls?
That's fine.
And you as well. Man. Oh, really? Will you allow your boyfriend to be?
Unless if he's my boyfriend, it's a different story.
Oh, okay.
If we've made that decision, we're exclusive.
Okay.
Then we're having a different conversation. I don't have okay, I didn't want to talk about this. So, your girl dated a joining app. Joined a dating app. This is how badly I didn't want to talk about this shit. So I joined the dating app last year for 2 weeks and then I left. I met 2 people. I never went on dates with them. They became my friends, but it was all weird interactions right in the beginning. Turned out both of those people were toxic. Thank God for that. This year I joined again. And I met 3 people. 2 people in person and 1 other person. And the 2 people I met in person were hands down some of the most amazing people I've ever met. I don't think I've considered boyfriend material in that way. But amazing where, you know, like we talk about purpose and the things we want to do in our lives, and they are there. And this is what's beautiful. You're number 1 on the people that I've ever met of men who are emotionally intelligent and self-aware. And that has opened up opportunities for me to meet other people like that, which is blowing my mind, right? Meeting men who are very emotionally intelligent, so self-aware. And then I've been on 2 dates now, and like endless beautiful conversation.
I mean, they're grown men. I mean,
but this is the thing I didn't know this is outside, okay? Because outside is a little disgusting. But what's interesting about that was, because I'm masculine, I'm forming business relationships with these people, not dating relationships, because like I said, I'm content. But
do you think it's wise for you to be single, and then you are
I'm not horny, I'm good. It's wise for me to be single.
Do you think it's wise for you as a single woman to go into business with a single man who's looking and you are looking?
No, they're not looking at me.
Ah.
You can tell that.
Okay. And that have they communicated?
They don't have to. Their energy did.
Oh, the energy did. Oh, your discernment must be on point to them.
It has to be.
Okay.
It has to be because I don't ever want to put myself in a space of wanting to be wanted because then I start manipulating the situation.
Oh, right.
And women do that without realizing that we manipulate the situation because we want to be seen so badly.
Okay.
I'm not willing to put myself in that position again.
Okay.
I reach out and have intentional conversations, but I think as of yesterday, funny enough, I've decided I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm actually performing the role of the man repeatedly because I live in my masculine space.
Yeah.
I have now business relationships with these two guys that I met.
Yeah.
They are awesome people and they deserve everything that's coming their way this year.
Yeah.
I
just don't be a doorkeeper, you know.
What do you mean?
Let the women come in their lives.
That's not my business. We're not friends like that.
Oh, that's good. Just business.
No, we're not friends like that. And I don't do business and relationship.
Yeah.
That went wrong the first time.
Yeah.
Do you really think I want to do that again?
No.
Nah.
That's good. That's good.
So,
that's good.
Like conversations are a different thing, but this is actual business, like getting their businesses because of the environment that I work in and strategically think about how it can make their businesses thrive, right? Oh, I thought you were signaling something. Okay. But what I wanted to say was I joined the dating app because I felt like I was ready to start dating because I've never dated before.
Yeah.
I mean, in high school it was my boyfriend and I married him.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what is dating actually? Now I go out for supper with you. Okay, I haven't done supper.
But don't you find it scary though? I'll be personal. It's scary to put yourself out there again like that, you know. So for me, to be honest with you, I am open, but I'm very guarded as well.
Yeah, you're generally guarded. I'm not dogging you, but you are generally guarded.
No, it's just I'm very careful who I allow in my space. You know, it's
but
like.
But you don't have to allow them entirely in your space. And I think you also need to decide what feels too personal to you and what is willing to give. I made that decision a long time ago. So the things I talk about here are things I can talk about anyway. The vulnerable stuff gets reserved for the people who are allowed access.
Right.
And you're one of the only people who've been able to experience that. You see how weird I become in that space, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's I go after relationships like that or friendships like that are more. They're genuine, man. I'm done with fake.
But you can be genuine and not tell everything about you.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why.
No, you can't be vulnerable with everyone.
But that's my point. That's why dating needed. So I did this with you a couple of months ago, and I did this now with one of these guys that I'm doing business with. Was to see how much I can go into a deep level of conversation, not even a vulnerable space, with this person and see how they respond. And the response usually tells me, okay, this is a good person to have in my life. Even though if it's a friend or whatever.
It's funny. It's like that's how women operate. They will ask you, baby, what do you think? And you will tell them, but they already made a decision in their head.
No. Actually, I genuinely wait for answers. I've asked you questions.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I've asked you
but you can't dribble me. You know, you can be messy.
I was never going to dribble you. My point was, I'll ask you a genuine thought. Because from a man's perspective, although I think masculine, I'm never going to be a man. So I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing from a man's perspective. So I ask these questions because I'm trying to get the insights of where they're at. Maybe to a certain degree, I'm trying to feel if they are feeling me.
I check if the water is cold or hot.
The water's cold every time.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe the water needs to be boiled.
That's not my job. I'm doing everything I can, and I'm not. This is the thing. I've also decided I'm not going to show up as anyone else other than myself. So there's no way I'm going to show up like someone else because I need you to be warm when I'm asking you these questions. Like, no. But if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. We'll move on.
But here's the thing. What you start with, you will have to use to maintain that. So if you're going to start fake, you're going to have to be fake in your relationship to keep the person. That's what I'm saying. It's better to be found as you are than to pretend to be somebody else to find someone. It's like, for me, it's like what you see, what you get. If you don't like this, leave me alone. You know, but for me to pretend to be somebody that I'm not to keep you, hell no, it ain't going to happen. You know, but that's how relationships a lot of times start. You know, we become saleswomen and salesmen where we have a pitch to sell.
I'm told.
To be,
I think there comes a point in like age.
Yeah, no, right now,
dating at my age,
listen,
like,
Right now, rejection is protection. You know, if I come as I am and then you reject me, you're doing me a huge favor.
My thing also is it hurts.
Just say amen, my sister.
No, but this is the thing. I was actually watching something a couple of weeks ago and they were talking about men and women seeing rejection differently. The reason why women should never be the pursuer is because we don't have the capacity to handle rejection well. Because women are supposed to be
but it's the same thing as men, though. You know how?
No, but men are bold. That's why.
No, we're not bold. No, we listen. Listen
bold.
to me.
I mean, like you guys have better capacity for rejection than women do.
You asked me to come on this show to tell you how men operate, right? Let me tell you, it takes us months to approach a woman.
I think that's only in Cape Town. Go to Joburg because in Joburg men have.
No, I think they're smoking weed there. It's a lot of weed. I'm kidding because.
Wow.
Because to be honest with you, if a guy is sober and they're gonna approach a woman, it's gonna take them a little bit of an edge for them to do that. I need to take 2, maybe 3 puffs for me to have the guts to approach you. No, it takes us time because we're also human and are afraid of rejection. So what we do is we check you out for a few months.
Oh Lord, that's long.
Yeah. We are hunters.
That is so
you don't
long.
Just jump.
Like I want to get married in the next year.
No, if when we are hunting, some of us we analyze first before we approach you.
Okay, give me the breakdown of what you're analyzing. This is good because I want to know this.
This is one of my friends and me too. If we like a girl, I will send him with questions to interview that person,
which is shady,
in my presence. And while she's answering, I'm looking at my prayer list and I'm taking and Xing and, you know. So before I approach you, I know what angle to go in. So I can date you without dating you. And I can reject you without you knowing.
That's manipulative, though.
No, it's not manipulative. You got to know what you're getting yourself into before you get yourself into that place.
Now you've done all that. And then she's like, nah.
But also, for me, beauty is in the tongue of the woman. So I need to, I can see you, you can look like Coca-Cola from afar. But the minute the tongue does not match how you look outside.
I think you are one of very few men who think like that.
The beauty of a woman is in their tongue, not how they look outside. That's what a lot of men, that's why they will want to go out with you and ask you questions, just to hear how you talk. Some men, for me, I would say, I just listen to how you pray and then I will decide if I want to be with you or not, because your prayer tells me a lot about your relationship with God.
Okay, so
the beauty of a woman is not on their face, it's in their tongue. That's just, I'm giving that for you for free.
Okay, but you get, wow.
That's for free.
No, what I want for free is the pin and the location for this place where these
there's
men...
There's not
because, I'm not experiencing that.
No, there's not a lot of us, because a lot of us are hurting and still healing and recovering. You know, so it's not easy to find men like that. And if there are some, unfortunately, they are taken. And they are kept by good women.
You know what I'm finding?
That's why you have to get...
I'm finding a different experience with this, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you're making me think about it. In the last couple of weeks, I've spoken to a couple of men who are in relationships that they can't make sense of.
Yeah.
And when they describe their relationships to me, because I understand the abuse space really well, there are so many red flags. Like, they're blaring in their faces. But because men function through their egos, they cannot give their relationships an abusive label.
And ego is not always bad.
No, it's not. But I mean, men need it, right? But what I'm saying is they can't, because men function with a certain level of ego. A man saying, I'm in an abusive relationship with a woman, makes them feel ashamed somehow.
It's a shame.
It shouldn't be happening, right?
No man goes to the police station and open a case on abuse.
But my point is, like, that's the thing. Like, so what I'm saying is these men are suffering through their relationships because they feel like they have to be there. And I'm like, do you know what I could do with you if you were not married? Because despite the fact that I'm masculine and I think a lot like a man and I'm business driven and all of that, I've now understood the position as the helper a lot better. And the kind of things a woman like me, I shouldn't say like me, but the way that I think in relationships would steward a man's purpose and be the helper in his purpose. And I think especially
but the thing is, a lot of people
ride or dies in every possible area.
But the thing is, some women, they want a finished product. They don't want to go through the process.
Where is that?
You see, men sometimes come in women's life like raw material. and God entrusts you to bring something out of that person. But a lot of times, I mean, not a lot of women will marry or date an unemployed man, but a man will do that.
I don't know. I say it's different for me.
Yeah.
Because of the community I come from,
yeah.
we would date unemployed men. And the reason why is before we're talking about money, and okay, I'm going to talk about from younger years.
Yeah.
Now I'm almost 40. If you're unemployed, we have a lot of questions to ask. What are you doing? What are you planning to do?
Yeah, maybe it's unemployed for a season. It's not like a lifestyle.
But you need to have a vision.
Yeah, for sure.
And your vision needs to make sense. Yeah. And it mustn't be future faking.
And it has to be pursued,
Yeah, you mustn't be giving me gems that are not actually going to happen, right?
But the problem is that most men are loved with the condition that they can provide. And that's the pressure that comes with being a man. If you cannot put anything on the table.
But I mean, y'all are born for that. I feel like men are born natural providers, and instinctually you will find ways to do that. And I'm not talking about lavish, expensive lifestyle.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you're providing the basic needs and necessities and the emotional availability to hold space. But you don't have to be the therapist.
Yeah, but we don't just want to be seen as providers. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, that's what happens. We are only seen as providers.
Yeah, you see, we're excluding toxic people from those conversations. Okay. I'm going to keep saying that.
What did Chris Rock said? Men are loved with the condition that they can, only two things,
This is why we need to educate our girls what they need to be looking for. And they need to heal themselves enough where they're not trying to fill a void, where they are understanding that this relationship, I have a role to play here that's very important. That has nothing to do with the financial standing or with what he's providing. I come in as a whole person, still healing. Nobody's ever fully healed. So I'm coming in as a whole person to provide this other whole person what it is they need.
And provision is not only money.
But that's my thing.
If you look at the word provision, there's a vision in the word provision. So a lot of men may not provide I think every man needs to provide a vision for their family. That's very important for me. So for me, it's like provision. I wouldn't, if my children only inherit a car and a house, I would say I failed. I want my children to inherit a vision, some kind of a legacy, something that they can say, you know what, there's a sense of purpose, I would say. That's why I think with a lot of men, they will never want a woman if they don't have a sense of purpose in life, because it's purpose that drives us. And if we don't have anything to help us with, we will not approach you. That's some men. But some men don't care. They will just approach you with nothing. But I don't think that's wise, though. But it's because they're looking for a mother in you, not a wife.
Ooh. Dating apps.
But hey, some women, they are looking for their dad in
Oh, hell no. I can't do that. Puke.
Okay.
But no, I actually saw someone on the dating apps say, I like older women. They're just my thing. I was like, nope. I'm not about to do that because I'm not about to be a mama. But I'm finding...
Yes, mama issues.
No, but what I'm finding is that younger guys are looking for older women in much more cases.
They're looking for stability.
But this is the thing for me, dating younger guys was always like, not going to happen. Not in this lifetime.
Yeah.
But I'm finding guys who are older at 12. This is on repeat.
Yeah, AKA trauma.
I've done so much
trauma.
I don't want to be dating a 41-year-old and it's just like, sir.
I'm sorry. A lot of us have grown, physically,
and didn't grow mentally and emotionally. It's too much work. But then I find the younger guys, because they are in a space where healing and growth was something they were being taught, they have more access to it, that they've done much more work and are much more mature. But Claudia laughs at me all the time because I'm just like, I'll be talking to someone who's 10 years my junior. This is always the case. And while I'm talking to her about them, I call them this boy. Because in my mind, I'm like, you're a child though. You can have a body of a man, but I'm always going to see you as a child.
But is it age though? Are you measuring his manhood in age? Are you measuring his manhood in
I would feel like I was
emotions?
Raping a 28-year-old if I married him. Every day I'd feel like I am sexually molesting someone's child.
Wow. If that's your conviction, I think you should pay attention to it.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Look.
But some men will marry, or date somebody who's,
Look, I'm toying with the idea because I'm
10
finding...
years, difference.
I mean, most of the people who are
Why is it okay for men, not okay for women?
It's not even about that for me. For me, it's not even about a societal point of view.
Yeah.
It's like I've had this happen now often where much younger guys, the youngest was 24.
Yeah.
And I can get with it to a degree.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more I realize...
Also, it depends where you go. It depends where you fish.
No,
the location is very important.
No, these ones are everywhere.
Okay.
It's been every location. Every location.
Maybe you need to go to a jazz club. You'll find the OGs there.
Yeah, they don't hit on me. So the thing is, do I want to...
Maybe we need to work on your...
date a man who drinks beers for a living? I'm sorry,
drinking
guys.
Beer for a living?
But,
No, the guy is decompressing. He had a long day.
You don't even drink. I don't even know why you're making excuses for someone else that does.
Listen, we all have our addictions. We all have a way of decompressing after a long day.
So the thing is, it will take me too long to figure out whether that is you decompressing or if you have a problem.
Yeah, get to know the man before you judge him.
Then every time we're spending out, he's drinking. How am I getting to know you behind the alcohol?
And why is he drinking?
That's my point.
Exactly. Investigate. Ask questions.
It's a lot of work. So I want to finish with this, but the thing that I wanted to say was, I'm exploring it specifically because I'm finding more mature people in that age range.
Yeah.
But the more that this is happening, the more I'm starting to realize that I may have felt ready to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to. I don't know, maybe it's just the season. I've been having an emotional day, like I said, but I don't know if I want to.
I mean,
I feel like I'm
said,
not finding comfort. I'm not finding... Because what I'm looking for right now is not someone to fill a void. Mm-hmm. What I'm looking for is...
That's good.
No, because I do all that for me.
Please
right?
don't go for rebounds.
No, I'm not. So I do all that for me. I don't need anybody to fill that gap for me.
Yeah.
But I do know I want a person.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel a bit... Not lonely.
Yeah.
It's not, the word is not lonely, but I'm starting to feel like I want someone to share my life.
Yeah, but if you feel...
I want someone to experience my life with me.
But even the word loneliness is not even a bad word for me. I wouldn't say it's a bad word. I felt lonely before. And that is the evidence that as human beings, it's not good for a man to be alone. I don't think we are created...
We aren't. That was the first scripture.
Exactly. We're not created to isolate and be on our own island. So for me, you feeling that is innocent and is human, and I don't think you should demonize it and look at it as a bad thing. I don't. Loneliness for me is the evidence that God created me for that. That's why I will not allow what happened or to affect what God wants to do in my life. Is that happened, but I'm not going to give it power over my future, which you shouldn't.
Yes.
But also, it's very hard though to try to jump like that again.
See, I'm like I told you, I think it was last week. I'm in the 2024 season. I jump off cliffs.
Wow.
So I'm ready to jump, but I'm not going to be stupid. My parachute will be open this time.
But you know what? I'll rather jump and be hurt than not to jump.
See, I don't want that again. Like, I understand you get hurt in relationships, it's natural.
But love is a risk, woman.
Yeah,
like, sorry to call you a woman. Jesus did it with his mother, but I'm just saying that.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just saying that I've gotten to a point where I've realized that it's better to love and be hurt than not to love at all. I don't think grieving, I've realized that part of my grieving is having all this love and not sharing it with someone. I think that's the season that I'm in right now, is that I'm grieving, this, you're achieving all these things in the world, but you get to celebrate them by yourself.
Exactly.
That's
what I was trying to say. That's what I'm experiencing. Like I'm grinding like I've never grinded before, and things are happening all over the place, and I'm just like...
And you come back home to a dog. That's what I come back to a dog and plants. But anyway.
I can't compare Claudia to a dog because she's a whole human being. But I mean, I have my best friend and I say every day, but I mean, we also have to have separate lives.
Yeah, for sure.
She's young. She wants to experience her life. She's meeting people all the time.
You can't use it as a crush. At some point, you gotta find your...
No, you're my crush. I would not. But the other
next time I'm going to interview her about you. Don't traumatize her, please.
No, but I think the thing also is I need to be really conscious of the fact that me and Claudia are really best friends, but we are 20 years apart.
Yeah.
Our life experiences are very different, and I need to allow her to be her age.
But also, I think there's a lot that she can learn from you, and there's a lot that you can learn from her.
Yes, but she doesn't have to learn all of those things, and that's what I'm
No,
saying.
she doesn't have to go through those things to learn them. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes.
But what I'm saying is, there's a difference. Like me and her, we said this last week.
Yeah.
I want a person that's like Claudia.
Wow.
Someone that I can be all of myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Claudia has seen crazy on level 5,000.
She's very centered. She doesn't get triggered very easily.
Yeah, but she's also hilarious. And nobody knows that. Like Claudia makes me laugh harder than anybody.
That's good.
But I want someone who naturally falls in that for me. And then someone I can have more intimacy with.
I think what you want is safety.
No, I'm definitely going to have safety. That's not a compromise.
Yeah, yeah.
But so, just to get, like, to end this off.
Yeah.
The thing I feel like is, we spoke a lot about, like, divorce and all of that.
Yeah.
Marriage and divorce changes you as a person.
It does.
Right? And if you're not prepared
for the better or worse, but that's also a choice.
Well, for most people, when pain happens, it's very difficult to make good choices, right?
I know.
I'm glad.
But the most important thing, or one of the most important things you said, I think for me, is community. So also, I would say it's not always a choice, because some people are born in situations that they cannot get out of. So I can't. It's very privileged of me to say that it's a choice. What I had to learn, that not everybody has access to resources to go through counseling. I had that.
And I mean, we both had each experience. But what I'm glad for is that both of us got out of it without it messing up our lives.
Also, without demonizing the people that hurt us as well. Because I remember...
To an extent.
For you. But for me...
Wow, to come through another the bus.
But here's the thing. This is what I will say to conclude this, is that I think the hardest thing for me was praying for her. And asking people, when they say they are praying for me, to tell them to pray for her. And also not allowing people to speak bad about her. Those two things, I will say, they were the hardest thing that I have ever had to deal with. But the more I did them, the easier the healing took place.
Yeah, the praying for them is very, very hard, especially when you have so many questions forgotten about them.
I know. But when you know your worth and realize that what happened to you was not about you, there's a little bit of grace and compassion that comes with...
That was my biggest lesson. I think my biggest lesson was realizing that the things might have happened to me, but they didn't have to define who I become.
Exactly.
And they were actually trying...
And what's the expression? Hurt people, hurt people?
But they were also trying to change who I was initially meant to be.
Exactly.
And I found that version of me through this process, more than I think, the people who hurt me through this realized. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, now I accept everyone who was part of this for who they are.
You know what's the funny thing? Sometimes when I look at the guy who was married and I look at myself now, I'm like...
What were you thinking, actually?
Same. No, there's moments where you get so healed and you look at this other person and you're like...
Hey. Who was I?
Like...
This doesn't make sense.
Bruh, like why did you allow yourself to go through that?
Information.
Yeah, but I know. But I think it's because, I think... Like I said, there are parts of me that were drawn to that were not healed. And now I'm looking at that person, I'm like...
Wait, I'm actually glad you said that. Because I feel like when
but also
I
cannot hold this guy accountable, because he did the best with what he had and with what he knew. You know what I'm saying?
You wrote
and also the other person. It's like sometimes you come into marriage with, marriage is going to save me. I will be happy when I get married. If you're not happy while you're single, you're not going to be happy when
you'll be miserable, because you're trying to find happiness in someone else.
Exactly.
That's not the
marriage becomes your God, and that's what I realized with myself.
Like I did this. I put a responsibility on my son before he was born. He was supposed to love me.
Yeah.
And conditionally, this child is born into the world
idols,
with a responsibility that he was just like, I asked for this.
Yeah.
You learn a lot through that. But I wanted to say something about, and it's gone, and it was so important.
Yeah. I think they're praying for your...
No. You said something after that. About who you were when you were in that situation.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm not the same guy who was married.
So I don't know if this experience has happened to you, but it's happened to me of late.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you're so healed, right, that you're just like,
you become disgusted with that person that you were.
No, you
not even disgusted.
No, not disgusted. I feel bad for the version of me, right? Because she was looking for what she needed at the time. I feel very bad for her.
That boy needed to be loved, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then they didn't get it. They got the opposite of that. But what I'm saying is, you get to a point where you're so healed that it's so easy now to walk in crowds and be like, no.
You're very selective now. You know what you deserve and you know who you are.
Yeah, and then you just don't want
and you don't perform for love.
And you don't bother to spend time with people who you're just like, I see a red blanket from here, 5 kilometers away.
You got nothing to prove. You got nothing to prove.
The thing about it, I think, I love being this healed, but I feel like it's given me a certain...
Are you saying healed or healing? Because I think it's a
I'm still healing. I'm talking about this portion. Okay, gotcha. So there's still a lot of stuff I'm healing from, but this portion, like, not being afraid to try again.
Yeah.
Right?
Proud of you.
But what I'm finding interesting...
They still have to go through the brother, though. I got to check them out for you. Because I still feel like you're just picking anybody.
Even Claudia is sighing.
Yeah, Claudia, we got to team up. We got to take those people on interviews.
No, Claudia she came to our meeting. So you know who's coming there first. She's
That's
my
good.
bodyguard.
Well, I hope she will appreciate the same accountability when she arrives in that place as well.
She actually is very good at checking them out herself.
But
she's got a lot more insight than I do with this.
Right.
And her experience is very little. So that's why she comes with. Okay. Because she's neutral.
But what I'm saying is when she starts dating.
Yeah, no, she's good.
Will she allow you to hold you accountable?
No, I must sit there and watch so that nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then we must
go. By the way, Claudia, we just want to say marriage is beautiful. Relationships is beautiful. Don't let our experiences change your experience.
Claudia watches so much romantic movies.
Yeah, she should.
No, like,
love is beautiful.
She lives in, like...
Listen, what I hate is when people...
It's a lot.
What I don't like is when people look at what we have been through and then
they're tainted by love.
But also think that marriage is bad. Marriage is not bad. People
can be bad.
Who get married can be bad. So I don't want people to think marriage is not beautiful because of what we have been through.
Look, I'm an optimist. I want to live in a the biggest romantic story of my life next.
And you will.
I mean, I was married for 14 years and I still haven't given up on love.
You shouldn't.
This is what's hilarious.
You have kids, they need to see that.
Yeah, they will. But
they need to see their mother bouncing back and say, hey, you can go through life, but don't give up.
Yeah, but also I want to be able to do the whole Indian dance behind the tree thing and be happy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I hope I'm invited.
Man. I want to have that experience.
Yeah.
But the thing for me is, I feel like it becomes more complicated when we've had this level of experience and this kind of journey. Yeah. It's not as simple and as light-hearted anymore because we know the realities of life and it can become weighty.
You become too careful as well.
But my thing is, I think the biggest deal breaker the one thing that's kept me from doing it.
Yeah.
And that's also made me delete the app as of yesterday.
Yeah.
Is the way that we talk, there's a lot of weight that comes with it because we have weight of history and experience.
But also, I think with me and you, there's trust. You know, there's trust is the currency in which we build relationship on. If you don't have trust with people, you can't be open and safe, with them.
The thing for me is, though, I don't know if I want to invite someone into that space and version of me. And then they realize there's actually a lot of weight that I'm carrying.
Yeah.
And that I may need help to lighten that load.
Yeah.
Because I understand the weight.
Yeah.
And because of my experience, it's made me, I've become the funny, quirky, weird version of myself, which I think is great. And I need someone to play the role of lightening the mood when I tend to get heavy. But I've been feeling, and I don't know if this is true, I've had someone say this isn't, but for me personally, one of the reasons I'm starting to slow down this thing is because I feel like they come into my situation and it's as heavy and as weighty as it is.
Yeah.
What role can they play? That doesn't make them feel
the problem is when people don't communicate that role that they want that person to play because it's unexpected. Like people don't communicate what they really want and how they want to be loved, because of their own insecurities. Oh, if I tell him this, or he says this, he will not want me. So sometimes we project things on people, and we prevent them from actually really loving us, because there is some unhealed part of us that needs to be loved, but they cannot be loved if you don't communicate.
See, I'm communicating though.
Yeah.
But I don't want to communicate anymore.
But you should. Like, we men cannot read
you're
minds.
You're going to walk into a room with like this massive bag of things.
We
and
cannot
then
read minds.
If you want to help me pick it up.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I know there are men that are equipped for it. I think because life has gotten so content, it's just like, do I want to have to re-explain this to someone else? How much the weight is? Because the weight is a lot. If it was simple, you know, and everything that happened in the last years was simple, it's one thing. But it's not simple, and it's still complicated, and it's just as complicated now as it was 2 years ago. Do I want someone to step into that environment and have to stand and defend me, or have my back in that way?
You gotta measure your risk, though. You know, the risk of not saying anything is greater than the risk of saying something.
I say off the bat. I tell them day one. And I tell them day one because I want them to know what they potentially...
Does that scare them off?
I don't know. They've never said.
Okay.
But the thing also about being authentic is, if I'm going to be authentic with you on day one, you're going to hear everything about me that's relevant to hear.
Day one, you dish out everything.
I'm not bombarding you. It's coming out in little bits. I'm not telling you, oh, by the way, I'm divorced and this happened and I don't have my kids. I'm not telling you all of that.
Yeah.
But I am being myself.
Sometimes it's overwhelming for men to know all those details at once. You gotta do it in steps.
But I've also find I haven't been in a situation or around people, just people in general, even females, who are able to digest my experience. And I think it's made me less inclined. Right? It's made me less inclined to want to go. And not because of them. Just because for me, it feels like so much effort. Someone who's curious about me will be more curious about me.
You came out of how long of being married?
14 years. You invested, and 17 years in a relationship.
You invested a lot in that. So to come back with the same mindset and do the same thing, it is a little bit, do I want to do this again? Not really.
Yeah, I'm just hoping God sprinkles a husband on me, the right fit. You know, then it takes away all.
Is there such thing as the right fit, though?
No, the right fit for my situation. I never said perfect.
Do you believe in the one? Do you think it exists?
I think you curate the situation.
You cultivate the one that you.
I heard a beautiful statement last year, and it resonated so well with me, and I'd never heard it before. Was that the most beautiful marriages are built. Both people need to want to build it. Yes. You don't find a perfect. Like the Bible says, he who finds a good wife, which means she needs to, oh my word, which means she needs to have characteristics that represent a wife, which number one is like the Holy Spirit, the helper.
Yeah, you don't become a wife on the wedding day.
No, you don't. But the thing is,
you are found as.
The mistake that we make is we have kind of reduced wife to barefoot pregnant in the kitchen sort of idea.
Oh, yeah, true that.
So when we listen to that scripture, what people are automatically assuming is that version of a woman. That's a version of a woman. That's not a wife. A wife understands that she plays Holy Spirit role in this man's life, right? So she stewards, she helps steward, not stewards. She helps steward his gifts, his goals, the vision for the family.
But I just want to say on that.
Wait. Bringing her vision also into the thing and building a house together.
Yes.
Because you need people to build a house together. He's the foundation and he's the covering. She helps build what's in the middle, and that includes the nuclear family. So, for me, I don't believe in finding the one, but I do believe that when I find someone who resonates with where I see my purpose going, but also at the same time has his own individual purpose that I am able to plug into, and that I don't need to be passionate exactly with what he's passionate about. I feel like that makes it boring. But also someone I can.
I mean, if you're supporting someone because you like what they're like, it's very.
Yeah, then you're marrying.
It's very conditional.
You're marrying yourself.
Yeah, it's very conditional, because what if can you still support them if they're doing something that you don't like? That's unconditional love.
Yeah, but it needs to be. I think also one of the most important things that I've never heard anybody talk about is we need to be on the same moral playing field. So
you shouldn't be with somebody in a relationship that is going the opposite direction, where you are torn apart.
At
least there needs to be some alignment.
But that's what I'm saying. We need to be on the same model playing field, because in my mind, one of the biggest things, and I think this is an issue, this has been an issue for me from childhood, is I really battle with people who try to take chances in areas that is morally shady.
Yeah.
And I catch those people immediately.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm just like, if you're willing to play in this area, what else are you willing to do?
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
So that for me there's a no-go area there. Like morally, we have to have the same understanding of what right and wrong looks like. And if there's confusion, we need to be able to talk about it without you reducing it to a joke, because then something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? That's toxic. But that for me is very important.
You see, the great thing that I love about this is that you're not starting from scratch. You're starting with experience. But also experience can be bad. Because now you're trying to
curate the perfect version of a human being.
You know what I'm saying? And now you get to a thing where you find somebody and you're trying to change them into your own idol.
Yeah, no. I actually, you know what I found interesting is, there's a certain level, I don't know if you had this experience, but you can be married to yourself for a very long time.
Yeah, you can.
And then not know it. You have no idea that you're married to yourself. Yeah. And then you're not married anymore. And you find out that other people are very different. Yeah. And your nervous system is freaking out. My nervous system for the first year was absolutely on fire. Because now I'm in a situation that I cannot control the environment anymore.
Yeah.
This person is wilding out. They are, want to tell Claudia often is, we're walking in the street and you are singing at the top of your lungs. She does this in the lift when she doesn't realize she's doing it, and there's other people there, and I'm just like,
it's called freedom. She doesn't care what everybody else thinks. You're so conscious of what people will think.
No, I'm not conscious of what people think. It's just for me, because I'm using singing as a specific thing because I'm still learning to be comfortable using my singing around other people, because that's a vulnerable area for me.
Actually, when you were practicing, I was like, you have a good voice.
Thank you. I've been singing since I was 3. But what I'm saying is, I'm using this as an example because I didn't know that people were as colorful as they are. I didn't realize I lived in a gray scenario for 17 years.
You're one of them colorblind people. I don't see color.
I had no idea. I thought that was color. And then I come outside and I'm just like, wait. People have crazy personalities outside of my little bubble. Like the bubble burst hard. But it took me so much time to adjust to other people's behavior. I was just like freaking out.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing the next relationship I get in, this person has to be all of themselves. I will not be with someone who, and wow, I'm a little passionate about this.
Yeah, you will like, I will not. I'll remind you that, you know.
No, I will not be with someone.
Better not give me a mic at your wedding, because I will say some stuff.
Oh God. The person will not be like me. They cannot be like me.
Oh,
we need to have resonance in a lot of areas. But
if they're like you, you're missing out.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't, and although it still makes me super uncomfortable.
It should.
And there's sometimes I just want to breathe through the moment, and I'm like, you do you. I'm not going to tell you to stop. But I'm dying.
We are so selfish that we look for ourselves in other people, and that's how we get disappointed. You can never find Phinius in anybody in this world. I cannot be you. You can never be me. If I'm going to try to make you me, I'm going to be disappointed. And you know whose fault is that? It's not you, it's me.
You see why that friendship,
so I give you the right
needs to stay a business friendship.
I give you the right to disappoint me if I try to make you me.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, so.
It's food for thought.
Yeah.
Okay, let's close this.
Okay, divorce, sex, celibacy.
We didn't really go into sex as much, but okay.
Yeah, because it's awkward, and I think there's underages are gonna watch this.
No.
Shush. Yeah, we covered.
You were the man who said 2 weeks to me ago. What did you say? Please say. We're gonna talk about penises and vaginas.
Yeah, it's biology. It's biology. It's biology.
I love how we're separating these two.
No, it is biology. We gotta talk about vagina and penis. You know, I was talking with one of my boys, and I told him, don't let your penis become your identity. Because a lot of men have found our identity in our...
in your genitals.
Yep.
Yeah, I avoid those men altogether.
Yeah. So
I have to deal with my genitals. I can't deal with mine and yours. Because my body knows what it's like. So we need to keep her subdued until it's time for the honeymoon.
So yes,
he needs to find me. I'm not saying that on your please don't come and DM me. I'm not kidding. Like, don't DM me. Like, this highs, guys. I don't have time to reply for highs.
So we are. I mean, did you do life orientation at school?
Yes, I did.
Oh, so we are.
It was my favorite subject.
Okay. Oh, was it?
Yes.
So we are gonna.
I gave birth twice at home, unassisted.
Oh wow.
This is why biology was my favorite subject.
Oh, okay. I think men need to be educated about that area as well.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Because I remember one. What is amazing? Giving birth?
Giving birth at home.
Okay. I don't. Yeah.
And in your own environment. Yeah. Oh my word.
Can you do me a favor?
Oh, it's beautiful.
I want you to educate men and myself about.
Not right now.
The cycle that women go through.
Oh, the 4 weeks.
And those things that you guys put inside to regulate yourselves.
What are we talking about? Regulate ourselves.
You know those things that you guys use for your cycle. I think, that.
I don't use.
I remember one day I had to go and buy. Listen, the other day, I think one of the homeless ladies asked me to go and buy them the thing, and I was so embarrassed because I was
my son just. Oh shoot! I can't say that on camera.
Yeah, please don't.
Wait, we must have a different conversation about that. The camera's gonna go off.
Okay, fine.
We can talk about that off camera.
Anyway.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This actually went usually how we talk, but I think it was better. Just chime in. Tell us what you think about relationships, divorce, sex after divorce, where you're at with that. If you're doing anything.
Fasting.
Yeah, the fasting is hard, but
we'll be all right.
I believe it's going to change soon for me.
Take a cold shower.
The right man will come eventually.
Jesus.
Wow. God, don't do that to me, please. I want to be married to the right man first before you show up. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. I wanted to say thank you to Hotbox Studios for allowing us to use this amazing space.
Yes.
My best friend Claudia is behind the camera. Yeah. Thank you to Nico and to Bo, who is also helping us out. We have a lot of volunteers. If you want to volunteer and you're in the Cape Town city area, let us know. We have a lot of space for volunteers right now until we get sponsors.
And if you'd like to be on the show and be interviewed, please let us know.
Well, yeah, we're vetting people.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. The next episodes, we're going to have some people, and it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of fire.
I hope it's going to be like this.
I think it'll be.
I think we're a little bit crazy, though. This feels like UTV, I think.
Today was fun. Like and subscribe and share. Love you. Bye.